Hello. These are difficult times. And it's hard to sometimes deal with things like this, especially when you get sort of into these mental loops like I do, where you try to figure out what your place in the scheme of things is. Not surprisingly, I don't have any real answers, but there are some things I want to do, and we'll see. And there's going to be a process sorting it all out. My brain always wants to do 19 million things at once, but we'll figure it out. It'll take time. Luckily, I have learned patience in this getting closer and closer to half century that I've been around. So we will attempt to be patient. In the meantime, hi. We are. I'm trying to jump back in and feel some sense of semi-normality, by returning to this. This is we're very near the end of the first of the 3 DLC stories for We Happy Few, which is, I figured, also kind of appropriate, as this is a game about fighting an Orwellian nightmare. The DLC in particular is actually a little bit more about imperialism, but, that kind of applies also. So, we'll just go ahead and get back to that, shall we? So yeah, we're gonna work on that. I did do a little bit of research, between last time and now. And I've determined that apparently, as we're getting ready to fight we're getting ready. Basically, we just have the boss fight left, I think, for this first bit of DLC. And what I'm going to try doing is apparently a thing that I didn't directly do, and I was only indirectly doing last time, which is apparently you are supposed to shoot at the monitor, which I thought I did at first, but maybe I didn't. I thought I did and nothing happened, but perhaps I'm just a terrible shot. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try pressing continue and see where that takes us. As hopefully it'll take us back to where it kept resetting us, but we'll see. Hello. Origami Shuriken, thank you very much for being supportive. We appreciate it very much. It is very good to see you here. Where am I? I'm pressing continue. Continue? Oh my god, are you sure? Yeah, sure. Some flowers bloom only at night. Some encounters too. In the regular game. It's funny, yeah, we're right back there. It's a funny thing, actually. I have just started watching, and when I say just, I mean last few days, I've started watching, finally, this TV show called The Prisoner. I don't know if you folks are familiar with it. Some of you will be, perhaps. It's from 1967, British sort of borderline sci-fi show. It's about a spy who gets kidnapped and taken to this village where they try to extract information from him. That seems terribly idyllic, and there's so much in there that appears to have inspired We Happy Few. That I just didn't realize. It's where they got a lot of the aesthetics from, it seems. It's actually kind of freaking obvious when you see the series, and so now that I'm seeing the series, I'm like, oh, yes, that's where a lot of this is from. So, there we are. Why do I have this much money? I don't understand. Okay. And the medical kit is back for now. We'll see how long it lasts. and we'll try to get through it. It's I only there are like 4 segments to this boss fight. I only looked at the information for the first 2 because those were the 2 that I have experienced. And it's just the one thing that I brushed over as I was kind of hurriedly looking at it at the end last time, was that apparently you're supposed to shoot the monitor. And I think that to an extent I was sort of resisting that because in real life we know that shooting them, there's this trope that I've always hated in sci-fi and basically everything that's not sci-fi also, just where any sort of visual medium where you see someone want to end a conversation or stop a machine and they shoot the monitor, or they destroy the monitor, or they hit the monitor, as though that stops everything else that's happening. And they don't do anything else. Sometimes, some things they'll go ahead and bash the rest of the equipment, but a lot of the things I've seen, they don't bash the rest of the equipment. They just bash the screen that's showing an image where they see what's happening, but they don't actually bother to stop any of the other processes, and I find that hysterical. So that's probably a subconscious reason why I wasn't shooting at the monitor very much. I did initially, I think a little bit, but I didn't notice it doing anything until later. And I think all those shots at the armpits, basically, that I thought I was hitting, I think maybe those actually were just ricocheting up to the monitor. We'll see. But let's find out. Let's see how long before these medkits disappear. I can't wait. I'm excited. Okay. I don't think actually switching over to anything is going to help me right now, but let's do it anyway. Okay, here we go again.
You just won't listen to reason, will you?
Nope.
Here to save the tractors.
Okay, back to I do want to lower these down just so that I have a place to run, but also so I can do this. I did read that also. Okay, great.
Did they ever tell you how their creators died?
Ah! Okay, I also have to watch my own life bar when this is happening. See, apparently that works. It's just working. So this is perhaps only a tiny bit faster than we thought it was going to be. Can't freaking believe I didn't notice. Come on, show us the face. Ah! Where are we? We're like at half-mast right now, right? Okay. I'm not gonna try throwing a projectile. Ah! Okay. I caught a little bit of that. Let's go ahead and... let's use one of the med kits. By gum. Alright, here we go. Oh, that's your lovely face. Yeah! Yeah, see, that's doing it. Oh, crap. There we go. Okay. Whilst this is happening, let's take a moment. Okay, it's working! Okay. Alright. Let us make sure we are properly armed. And not where the floor is electrified, because that would be bad. Okay. That stung a bit. Oh, right. Oh, crap. That's not gonna help much.
You're a bloody steamroller, stupid, aren't you?
Give me just a moment. Ah!
They don't have a word for gratitude.
Wait, did she? Oh, for the love of... Okay. So she just takes them away.
If making you happy is so much, why does everyone want to
Hey, I'm running around a lot. Let's have some toasted chicory. There we go. While we're here, let's have some delicious healing balm. Mmm. Oh, for goodness sake. Here's somewhere I can... Can we do this without strafing? I don't know. You know, I've never tasted camphor, so I can't say. No idea what it actually tastes like. Ah! Oh, great. Okay. Ah! Okay. Okay. Okay, I have no idea what the next phase is going to look like, but I'm scared. More robots. Okay. Awesome. Ah! That one snuck up on me. Oh, okay. Hey. Hi, how's it going? Well, as long as we're here. Wouldn't it be nice to have some grenades? Yes. Wait, I do have grenades. Wouldn't it be nice to have pillars to hide behind?
I quit! James!
Huh?
I still think you're an idiot! I'd just rather die with you than without you!
Aw.
It's them or
Missiles, okay. Missiles, I remember about missiles. Well, that's wonderful. Actually, James has come to die along with me. That's great. Oh crap. Okay. Alright. Ah! Okay, wait. Okay. We're at 38%. I guess we'll have another of these. It's not the most awesome of things, but we'll do. Ah! Ah! Oh. Sound went out. Ah! Okay, stand by. Whoa. Okay, sound is out. Hold on. There we go. Nope. Sound is out for me. Possibly not for you. I would like to be able to hear it. Yeah, it's a chord thing. Okay. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, not for you. Yeah, yeah. So the, my sound just went out. But it's back now. Okay. Well, that's the last of those. Let's have some more chicory. Let's just pause here in the hallway and drink some toasted chicory, shall we? Oh, shit. Okay. Ah! Coming. Ah! I'm trying to press the 4 button. There we go. Good lord. Ah! It's not long. Yes! Oh. That only took 3,000 forevers. Wow. Okay.
Nice knowing you, pup.
Do not be scared.
What's up?
We are grateful to you.
What are you going to do with her?
We will take her back home. Our judges will give her justice.
You mean execute her? Or turn her into a bloody plough?
Of course not. They will attempt to find the errors in her programming.
Oh my god.
If they can, she will be returned to constructed service.
Oh,
You
good
destroy
lord.
human beings, even when they can no longer cause harm.
When you put it that way, it does seem a bit wasteful.
We will close the portals.
Wait, what? No, don't do that.
Perhaps we can open them again one day.
I am concerned.
We got off to a bad start. We have so much to learn from each other. Please, don't close the portals.
It is not my decision, but perhaps you can convince my people. If you cross the portal with us,
Then perhaps I can't convince you, and then I can't come back.
You have to go, Roger. You'll always wonder what you missed. In fact, if you don't go over there, I'm kicking you out of the house. So look, there's nothing keeping you here.
Oh my goodness.
Then come with me, James.
What would I do there? Wherever that is, I'm not going to be much use convincing alien robots of anything.
They'll take care of us. I'll take care of you.
But I have always taken care of you.
James.
Ah! Okay. Decision time. I'm going to convince James to come, hopefully.
All right. I guess we're going through the looking glass then. At least they won't give us shit for being in love.
Come on. It'll be a smashing adventure. I do love you, James.
I do love you, Roger.
Wow. And that's all they show us. It's weird, right? Because I have thoughts. There are too many of them. Wow. So, presumably, because that's here's the thing, is that one of the issues that they raised there, one of the questions, right, is if they're going to reprogram Faraday, are they going to be using is it just a question, are they actually, because, there still is the question of, like, what they mean when they say that, right? Because the first thing that comes to mind is, like, are they going to just be trying to get her help to be better adjusted, or are they actually going to view it the same way that she was viewing reprogramming them? We don't know. And we honestly don't know which happened, because the funny thing is, so in 1964, in the timeline of We Happy Few, when, Arthur and the rest go to see her, she's behaving perhaps slightly differently? I don't know. She's trying to escape, and she's still trying to use portals. She's using a portal to escape. But she's confined to her house, which it looked as though that wasn't necessarily the case here. I mean, she was there. We didn't really get into it very much, as far as I recall. Basically, we had a situation where just the door was open to her lab, so she wasn't locked into her lab when we went to find her. But so I mean, and from the journals, I don't remember if in her journals, and there's a lot of journal in there, right? Was Uncle Jack in this one? I can't remember. I don't think we heard much. I don't think we heard any of his announcements. I don't know if we heard him on the radio or not. Maybe we did. The make-believes, yes. No, okay. This is just the credits for the whole game. But yeah, the funny thing is, it was like, what do we want to say on this? Was that yeah, so I don't know if she was behaving all that differently. I can't tell. But she was not working on, she was only working on portals in her spare time again. In the main game, but in the main game, it's like she's confined to the house, or at least or seemingly to her lab, and Roger and James are her jailers, effectively. So, like, something happened. And I kind of almost want to go back and look at the scenes with Faraday from We Happy Few, just to see where it jives, hooks up, because I'm trying to see if she mentions, I'm trying to remember if she mentions who it is that has confined her to the lab. Because, you know, I always think, because there's a possibility that she doesn't specify. I thought maybe she said it was the city. But if she didn't, then that means she didn't specify, and we just assumed it was the city that confined her. And that maybe it was the robots, as it turned out, that ended up releasing her provisionally back to Earth, and that Roger and James just sort of agreed to keep her in the lab. I suspect that might be what it was. So this was a trip. And is probably... And so now I must make a decision whether we keep this as a short stream. It's been like half an hour. Between, but you know, not actually much gameplay, just mostly me talking. And so I'm wondering about possibly just going ahead and starting the next one tonight, or if I want to just break it up and not necessarily do that. I don't know. What do I need? What do I need right now? I think that's really the question. I'm still kind of easing in. That was... Yeah, that was considerably easier than the previous go at it. It makes so much difference when you know where to aim. I'm a little disappointed that I wasn't able to get on top of the missiles like I did before, but that's okay. To actually get on top of shooting the missiles like I did before, but that's okay. There weren't that many of them. I'm also wondering about looking and seeing the other what the other ending looks like, leaving him behind. I don't expect it makes just a huge difference continuity-wise. That was very cool. I don't think I'm going to show it here, but I might go back and watch, just sort of find online someone showing the other ending just to see what it looks like. But at the same time, I'm not overly concerned about showing it here. So, the question arises: what shall we do? I think I'm going to, yeah. So I think I'm going to take a break at this point. I don't know if I'm going to cause a break in the stream just so that I will have less editing work later. Because that is tempting. It's very tempting. Just sort of do that, but we can... Yeah, I mean it's the same game, so I don't have to swap out. Did I change? Wait, that's a thing to find out. I can't go off the screen right now, and I don't want to because of the things that are happening. Okay. Because I fear that if I press a button, it's just going to go away. There's a... I know it's not... Don't worry. It's okay. It's my own idiosyncrasies. Let's not worry about it. Batman worked on this game, apparently. So it's... I think overall... Here, let's do a summation here for this part of it. So this took like 5... looks like this took 5 episodes to do. Probably could have done it in 2 or 3. But you know, time. What is time? We don't know. I like I think this one was considerably more shooty, obviously, than the others, because I mean the big thing is the ray gun. I think that there really aren't a lot in the way of boss fights in the main We Happy Few game. It's very different. It's more, there are significant encounters. And there are things that depend sort of on what you think of as a boss fight, right? Because, as I'm remembering, like, there are points where, I think in, like, Arthur's story in particular, like, there's a giant teapot after him at one point, that you can kind of avoid that, if you want to. And there's a point where there's, like, an Uber constable that's on guard in one of the buildings that takes a while to fight. But that, aside from those encounters, which the only one I think that's not avoidable is that one constable. But you can still hide and do other things. Then, you know, from Arthur's section, there's not really... It's more just really sort of... Well, it depends on how you take it, because you can lean in more toward fighting or more toward sneaking around. And then a little bit more toward social if you want, but, you know, the social you can do either way. And I did more leaning him toward... I mean, you eventually get all the things, but I sort of leaned him more toward sneaking around, I think. Breaking into houses, that was the main thing. So, I think in the case of Arthur, there were a couple of things you could consider boss fights, but they weren't quite like this. And then, you know, in Sally's portion of it, it's mostly social stuff, walking around dealing with people. And there are some things where you have to do some fighting. I mean, they all have to do some fighting throughout the thing, but it's or it helps if they do. But yeah, no real boss fights. I think in Sally's section, you do have the bit where she's sort of spoilers for that part section, dealing with the general at the end, or near the end, and so there's a certain amount of, but again, that's really more of a, you don't really necessarily, the point isn't to get him down to no points or anything. The point is to lure him into a specific location, and then it's dealt with. And then in Ollie's section, Ollie fights a lot of people. Ollie fights more just in general than the other two characters, but I don't seem to remember there being anything in the way of what you would call boss fights in Ollie's section. Maybe there are, maybe I'm just not remembering. I remember that there's mostly... It's mostly, you know, he's dealing with waves of people, if anything, at different points. So it's a different thing. And this was a lot of shooting, and this big boss fight with a headmistress at the end. Headmistress driven by Faraday. So it's interesting. I'll tell you what I would like to believe about this. About what happens here. I would like to believe that they managed to temper Faraday's behavior at least somewhat, so that she's still a mad scientist, but she becomes perhaps a slightly better person by the time we meet her in the main game. I would like to believe that. Like I said last time, I am disappointed. I am disappointed in Dr. Faraday in this DLC. That's the only thing that really, I think, bothers me too much about it. The change in focus with the fighting was a little weird and makes it kind of, for me, a different kind of game. It seemed much more like little more Doomish as I remember it. Although remember, when I'm talking about Doom, I'm talking about, you know, the 90s. So geared a little more in that direction, but they were leaning into very specific sci-fi tropes, invading robots, and then they were trying to subvert that. So I mean, Yeah, I'd have preferred things to be handled a little differently with the Faraday character, but it's like I said, understandable last time. But as far as this goes, I was impressed with the way that they handled James and Roger. They actually managed to flesh the characters out from being simple buffoons, like they were in the main story. So that was good. And again, it also makes sense that nobody remembers any of this because they're on Joy. Okay. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of a break. Whilst I actually haven't had much of my drinks, but I'm going to leap up and just stretch for a few minutes, and then we will come back. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try to get into the second portion of DLC. At least start it up, see what it's like, and then we'll just do that for a little bit. I think I'm feeling doing that. And I think I needed to do this, actually, to get something of a sense of completion on that. A sense of, dare I say it, pseudo-normalcy, as we now have to deal with more dystopia. There are a lot of things that I'm thinking and hopefully will be able to manage doing in light of various dystopian things going on currently. We will see. One part about doing those things is making sure that you are capable of doing those things. And I just want to make sure that I am physically capable and mentally capable, bandwidth-wise also, and just sort of doing things while still living life, to do those things. And I'm being vague right now, because I don't want to suddenly announce anything and then not do it. I want to, if I kind of a more sort of a thing, if I say I'm going to do a thing, then that's, you will at some point see me doing that thing. And if it ends up I can't, I will communicate about that. I need to get it out of the formative stages, and there's a bunch of things, including ADHD, on the way, so and various traumas and all that. So we'll see. Just got to sort things and figure it out. But I have some ideas for some stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to get to those very soon, because they need to happen very soon. If I do them. So we will see. We'll see how that goes. And then, now speaking vaguely, we're going to go to break, and then we'll pick up with the next bit of DLC. So now I shall go off the screen. There we are. I've still got it listed under tabletop RPGs. I'll fix that too. For those of you tuning in expecting to see tabletop RPGs, my apologies. Let's fix that. I shall now go to break. See you in a little bit. Let's try this one. Here we go.